grow up in? Do you mind starting there?
Yeah, I mean they were everything to me. They are everything to me. They were there from the first pitch, from the good stuff, from the bad stuff, all the way, to the big leagues and even after that. So they've always been there. They've been supportive. They've been in my corner. They've been there to help. My dad's been there the whole time. So being able to throw in the backyard, shoot hoops, it didn't matter. He was always there. Didn't matter a long day of work. Didn't matter a bad day of work. He was always there.
Always accessible to his children. And boy, did he raise some athletes in your family. How good an athlete was dad?
He was good. I think he was definitely more athletic than me. I think I know he was a four-letter athlete over there. He was a hilltopper up in Los Alamos. So, I mean, he did track, baseball, basketball, everything, football, everything. So he did it all. I know he didn't really want me to play football. Didn't want me to get hurt,
Hey,
but he did it all.
he was a prudent man. He recognized that you could excel in baseball, especially. But man, what a basketball player you were as well. Did you and dad ever go one on one in the backyard?
I think so a couple times. I think we did. So he definitely told me that I think at a young age, if I wanted to play, I need to play defense, and I wasn't good enough to play offense the whole time. So I had to play my defense, and then obviously I got with the Toppers over there. Bob Topper, he taught me how to shoot the ball a little bit, learn the game of basketball. So definitely a shout out to Big Bob over there. Okay.
Go ahead, take your time.
No, you're good. I got to change the Netflix show real quick.
Oh,
The little guy.
man, that's beautiful. Oh my
Say hi.
goodness.
Yeah,
Hi there.
get it.
I'm
Say
Henry
hi.
P. How are you?
Say I'm good.
Look at this little guy.
All right, we're good.
Good looking young man. He looks like mom and dad.
Yeah, more mom, hopefully.
You know, let's go back to your little league days and how you developed and how you discovered that you were an athlete and the people around you were like praising you, patting you on the back, and suddenly that formed a word in you called confidence. How about those early days of discovering your athleticism?
Yeah, I think it was definitely. I think that was more so like. I think that was more so my coaches. My coaches were always in my corner, always pushing me a little bit further every time. And definitely my dad just kept my head on straight and told me I always needed to practice and get better. There was there was no highs, there was no lows. He always told me to kind of stay even keel. So I think that's the main thing, especially in sports. It's such a roller coaster up and down, and especially baseball.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody there who just keeps you kind of even keel, and there's no good, there's no bad, it's just have fun and keep going. I think that was the main thing that I just kept trying to get to the next thing and the next thing.
Hey, do you need to take a timeout right now to take care
No,
of
I'm good.
you?
I'm good. He's good. He's good.
Well, we're going to talk about the beginning here, but we want to talk about the dramatic end that I thought would not happen forever, and it happened last week. But the beginning, and I want to really detail this for the kids who are watching today. You discovered something about yourself. They're discovering the same thing out there at Eastdale today. And it never hurts to get a recommendation from somebody. If you were in town today and there was a big game at Eastdale, the Jordan I know would be out there watching and lending a helping hand. And if you saw a picture with a funky little delivery on the mound, you would be the first to go say, hey, you got to do it like this. You got to come more overhand and over a course of time. Kids, it takes a while for them to understand what coaching is and how to react as a little guy. What's your recommendation right now to mom and dads everywhere on how to treat a young kid? Because you got to be sensitive. You can't scare them or push them or make them reluctant to go to the event. You encourage them like your parents did. What's your
Mhm.
advice?
Man, that's such a tough one just because I think every kid's different. Every kid, you just gotta learn who your kids are. And I think that's what my parents did a good job of. They knew who I was. They always sat me down, they talked to me. They understood kind of what made me tick. And I think that's the big thing is just understanding your kid. Not all kids are the same. They're all not gonna can't push them all. You can't baby them all. Some kids need to be everything needs to be different. So I think that's the tough thing. That's what I'm learning about parenting. I got two. I got a little boy and a little girl, and one's really emotional, and the other one just wants to go jump off of trees and stuff. So
Which
that's
one
what
were
I'm
you?
learning.
Which one were
Oof.
you growing up?
I don't know. I think I was a little bit of both. I think I was emotional and I was jumping off trees. So, but that's tough. I mean, I think you just encourage your kids. You love them, and you support them with whatever they do. With whatever path they want to go, and you just love them. And if they got a funky delivery, hey, there's a lot of guys in the big leagues with funky deliveries, so you never know. It could always work out, but
Could
I
you
think you just got to love
remember?
them.
Do you remember? I mean, I talked to people around the state and the country, and having a little league game on the radio is rare, and I didn't know that. But there we were, 8 o'clock in the morning on many mornings at Eastdale. I'll never forget one morning. Man, what a beautiful morning! I could still see it. It was the battle of the top teams in the league, and there you
Mhm.
were on the mound, raring to go, throwing heat, man. And you even had a little breaking pitch. You threw a no hitter that morning. I can see it right now. But those were special days for you. You showed up, man, your shoes were shined, your uniform was washed and pressed. You looked like a ball player. Do you recall?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember those days like they were yesterday, just kind of like you. And I think the thing that I remember most is my teammates. Obviously, I had a teammate, James Parr, who was way better than me, and he was always pushing me. I always was trying to be as good as him and throw as hard as him and hit the ball as good as him. And so I think that was another thing that my parents did a good job of. They surrounded me with athletes and players who were better than me, and they knew that my competitiveness was going to take over and that I would try, and I wanted to be the best one. But you know, who knows? I could have been the best. I couldn't have. But I think when I was surrounded by just such good players growing up, from little league to high school to college, and then when you get in professional baseball, that just it was common. It pushed me to be better.
You know, I had a very famous friend who's in the broadcast business with me, and he said, Henry, what are you doing down there with the little leaguers? That's not going to help your career. I mean, it's a waste of time. Waste of time. That was so exciting for me to be down there in the little leagues watching the development of players like you and James Parr. It it was fun for me. There's no way I'm going to downgrade myself being out there with you guys. And heck, forget my buddy. I saw some great games broadcasting your teams.
Yeah, and I bet you probably could be a pretty good scout, Henry. I mean, you probably saw a lot of young baseball over your life and basketball. I bet you could be a pretty good scout coming up. So if you ever want to dabble in that, I bet you got a good chance.
Well, I loved it. I had fun doing it. We had big crowds at those games because
Oh man,
we were
big
promote the
crowds.
games on the radio. But man, they were standing room only and then some.
Yeah, but that was because of you too. That was a lot because of you. I mean, when you got Henry T at the game broadcasting, and you're 12 years old, all of a sudden people start showing up. There's 5,000 people. watching a little league game,
Huge
and it was
crowd,
awesome.
I'm telling you. Hey, I'm going to put you to a little test. Might be impossible to achieve, but can you name some of the great players on your Eastdale team?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, James Parr was, definitely I played with him throughout the whole time. Matt Quillen, he was unbelievable. Ramon Romero, he was great. Andrew Salas, gosh, let's see, Zach Arnett, Chad Toppert, Kendall Lehman. Gosh, let's see who else. I'm trying to go around the diamond, get some guys in the outfield, but man, we had a good team, man. We had a lot of good players, and we all went up to high school together, and it was fun. We had a great time.
Who
Those
is
are
your
some of
catcher?
my best time.
Who is your catcher?
Matt Quillen, and Zach Arnett.
Wow.
Andrew
And
South, I think, got behind there every once in a while.
hey, Zach is big time coach now.
He's big time, man. He followed his passion. We all saw that. I mean, when you saw him play, especially at the University of New Mexico, I mean, the guy he's a football player through and through, and his knowledge of the game is unbelievable. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not surprised he's at where he's at, but he was dedicated, and he loves football, and he loves helping people. So I think that's the true thing that's made him successful.
You know, all those young kids, they had their personal responsibility. They were all self-disciplined. Character was really first and foremost on all those kids' list of how to be a ball player. They were nice kids, good people to begin with. Their parents, oh man, cream of the crop. And I learned something then, that these young kids were a reflection of their parents. And that was your story all the way.
Yeah, I mean, you go back and you look, and our parents, they sacrificed a lot, and I mean, that we were little league. They had caravans out there, and they were all there and supporting and doing it for their kids because they loved us. And that's like I said, it's you love your kids, you're gonna do the right things for them. So that was definitely a reflection. We were a reflection of them, and definitely I think that transferred onto the baseball field as well.
Yeah.
And we all loved each other, all as teammates, and we played well together, and it all kind of unfolded together.
And state championships.
There you go. Yeah.
And glory. Wow.
Couple of them.
Amen. You know, taking you through your path quickly, you went on to the Cueva to be an all-state baseball player. First team all-state basketball. You had a steal in the state championship game against Sandia. You went in there just seconds left. It's a tie game or you're down one. You go into a pile right in front of my vantage point. You're just a few feet away. You steal the ball and go 3/4 of the court for the winning basket. Do you recall that?
Oh yeah. That was like yesterday. And I recall it the most because I made a foul right before that to put Timmy Crow at the line. So Tim Crowell at the line. So I was like, oh man, I got to do something. But luckily my teammate Matt Honeycutt was right there with me in that little scrum, and he tapped the ball to me. And then it was off to the races after that.
And your speed, they couldn't catch Jordan Pacheco. Big
They
crowd,
probably could now, but
big crowd watching you go to the hoop, and you didn't dunk it. I was a little disappointed.
well, yeah, that probably wasn't going to happen. That's why I played baseball, not why I played basketball in college.
Yeah, but what a championship win that was. And a catalyst for you to go on to the baseball season and then really impress because you probably got a little motivated and got a lot of recognition in the community. And man, you stood up to it and said, I got to be credible. And you were. And then you get a baseball scholarship to go anywhere. You chose UNM and the new coach, Ray Birmingham. Why?
Well, actually, All Day was there He was
Oh,
there in my time. I was, yeah. So I didn't get to really play for Ray. Ray was 1 year after I
right.
was there,
Yeah.
but all day. And Mark Martinez were there. So, and obviously Coach All Day passed away, but he's in a good place,
Yeah.
and I do miss him. He was a great human being, and he gave me a chance. So I do miss him. And I talked to him all the way up to the end. So, but
Oh,
yeah, the UNM was great. Mark Martinez was big time over there for me. He encouraged me to come there and play. Everywhere else wanted me to pitch, and I wanted to play the game still because I loved it. I wanted to hit. I couldn't You couldn't take the bat out of my hand just yet. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go in college. I'm going to hit, and if it works out, it works out. If not, I can always go try to throw some curveballs up there at the next level. But it worked out. Had some good teammates, good coaches, and had a great time.
and you might be the single most versatile baseball player I have ever seen. And you played so many positions, you couldn't really pin you down to, well, is he a third baseman, a catcher, second base? He's a pitcher. You could play it all. Man, we
Yeah,
praise you high for that.
yeah. I think it was definitely. I think it was good to learn all the positions. I think that's going to definitely help me out in my next career of coaching kids, coaching my son, and passing the game along. I've dabbled in all the positions at the highest level. I understand how to learn them, not just how to play them. I understand how to get guys to that next level. So yeah, I'm definitely that helped me out. I think is going to help me out at the end of my career. Definitely wasn't easy doing it at the time. I was always trying to learn a different spot, but now I think for my next career, coming back to New Mexico, maybe pass it along to some guys up there and as much knowledge as I can to help them get to whatever their mountaintop is.
Well, speaking about the mountaintop, you got to the show. And I'm sure the pro scouts were high on the fact that they could put you anywhere and you would succeed. Did that help you get to the show?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I definitely think my background helped in that aspect. Playing multiple sport, playing basketball in high school, I thought I was athletic enough that when I was given a challenge, obviously too, that I could come through and I could learn different positions, especially catching. So I think yeah, at the next level, it definitely helped me, and it helped me get to the big leagues for sure.
Early on, you're with the Rockies. Man, we were so proud of you. At the end of the year, your stats were high, higher than most anybody on the Rockies roster, with a 313 batting average. And man, you did it all. You played, I don't know how many positions with the Rockies, but on a day to day, did you know that they could put you anywhere? And they did.
Yeah, they came to me, especially over the next couple years, which was kind of a little frustrating going through it, not knowing, showing up to spring training where you're going to play, uh, not being, I tried to be as adaptable as possible, but yeah, it was at the time it was a little frustrating for me because I didn't really have a position. But again, like I said, moving on and to my next career, I have so much knowledge of the game and I can see it from so many different views, and I can teach kids when they're struggling, I think, to help them get through a lot of things. So I'm definitely excited about everything that I've learned in baseball and from people at the highest level. So that's what excites me now.
Wow. I don't want to put you in a position where you have to discredit an organization. Let me do that because your your fans were really hurt for you when the Rockies didn't seal you to a position. And man, when you hit 313 your first year, you're saying, man, he's solid. He's here forever. We were disappointed that they didn't feel the same way. I don't know the particulars, but it disappointed us that they didn't sign, seal, deliver you for life as a Rocky.
Well, that's the game of baseball. That's the business side. And I understand that a lot more now, and I there's no bad feelings for me in the Rockies or any organization that gave me a chance. I appreciate them all and all the opportunities and everything that they've taught me, the good and the bad. Whether it was a good time there or not, it taught me a lesson, and definitely I'm gonna be able to pass that on to my kids and whoever else that I come into,
What happened,
into.
Jordan? You can share some of the details. You don't have to tell us the privacy, but man, in our eyes, you were good enough to be there forever. 313 early on in your career. Wow. Uh, your defensive work was superb. Were you hurt? Did it hurt your feelings that they didn't lock you in?
um, no, it didn't hurt my feelings at all. I mean, I understood where I was at. You're at the highest level. You're playing with the best players in the world. You got the 700 best baseball players on the field, on a day-to-day basis. So I wasn't hurt. That was always my motivation is, I can be better. And I don't think there's a lot of guys in the big leagues now that think they're always trying to become better. They don't think they're deserving of anything. So I think that's the mindset that kind of gets you there. And when you're there, yeah, you want to think that you've established yourself, but um, to me, I never was hurt by anything. It was always like, okay, well, I have control of the situation. I can be better. I can fix things. I can hit more home runs. I can do more on the off season. So and that's the challenge for me. And that's what I love about the game is it's always a challenge, and it's always asking you to be better. And so
Yeah.
so I never had, I never was upset about anything. Obviously, maybe at the time I was upset, but looking back at it, I never was upset. I appreciated all the coaches who were trying to get me better, who were trying to keep me there for a long time. So, it was my path. My path led a different way, and I'm happy about it.
What was it like realizing, man, I'm in the big leagues? Jeez, here comes the big crowd. I'm here. The reality check of what you had accomplished. And you walked out on the diamond that first day, realizing, whoo, this is Major League Baseball. Do you recall the moment?
Yeah, but I think that happens kind of after. I'm like right now, I'm able to kind of sit back and look at everything like we're talking about now and process it and unpack it and then put it in the closet and never have to worry about it again. But it never was something like, oh man, I was never wowed by it. I was wowed by players that I would come in contact with, whether I was playing first base and taking ground balls with Todd Helton first couple of years, or being able to sit and talk to Jason Giambi about hitting, and having a guy like Tulowitzki, watching him play, Arenado, Charlie Blackman, just guys that, Carlos Gonzalez on a day-to-day basis. And then moving on through my career, being able to sit down with Joey Votto and talk hitting, be able to talk hitting with Paul Goldschmidt, AJ Pollock. There's such a big list. So those are like the moments for me that were like, wow, I'm actually sitting here talking baseball with unbelievable players at the highest level and how they think. The game itself was the game. It's the field, you get on it. Okay, there's a couple more fans in the stands, but when you're on the diamond with those guys and you're playing against them or they're your teammates, that's when you're like, wow, I'm 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 playing some serious baseball right now. And people think I'm good enough to be here. So I better think I'm good enough to be here for a little bit.
I mean, you made ground balls blasted at you look easy. You were a major league player. The double play is my favorite play in baseball, and there you are in the midst of many of them. You hit the long ball too. Wow, Jordan Pacheco, my buddy, the guy
Yep.
was with at 8 o'clock in the morning watching a no hitter. There he is on TV in that purple and white. That made your fans feel special. Do you realize that?
Well, I hope everybody that I came in contact with when I was younger, older, played with, they all had an influence on me and they all helped me in a certain way. Even giving lessons when I was playing minor league ball, all those kids had an influence on where I was able to get. They, them showing up, getting lessons. Okay, this kid's coming at, he keeps coming back. He's not doing well, but he keeps coming back. That showed me that the passion I needed to have for this game if I wanted to play for a long time. So I think everybody that I ever came in contact with, friends, family, teammates, those are the people that helped me get to where I was at.
Rockies, Diamondbacks, Cincinnati, and wow, big leagues, all three places. Where else did you go?
I went to a couple minor league spots too. I was able to latch on with the Braves for a little bit in AAA and Gwinnett, and then Tacoma. I was able to play with, and even the Twins, where Mitch Garver's at now, who's an unbelievable player. Being able to watch him just keep get better and better every year and I know how hard he works. So it's pretty cool to see guys like that are after me come up and just keep doing it. So it's unbelievable.
Evaluate Mitch right now. You're watching him play. What do you see?
I mean, he's doing everything the game's asking him to do right now. He's hitting home runs. He's getting on base. He's getting better behind the plate. His receiving skills have gotten unbelievable the last couple of years. So I think that's a thing that's definitely helped him. And I think that's the thing that's going to keep him in the big leagues for sure, because we all see his bat now. And I know he's worked very hard on his bat and trying to definitely from that catcher's position put the ball in the stands, and he's doing a great job. So just watching him evolve with the game and staying ahead of it, and that's the thing that keeps you in that league, and that's what he's doing right now. So it's pretty awesome to watch him do that.
Yeah, in high school, you knew him so well. He's a teammate. Little League, he's at Mile High. You're at Eastdale. He's been a part of your life and teammate with the Lobos, and yeah, I guess you're pretty close to Mitch Garver.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm a little older than him. I'm really close with his. I'm more close to his brother, but he was a couple years after me at La Cueva and then at UNM. But just being able to watch him as a player from La Cueva to UNM and how he's just stuck with the discipline of getting better, I think is the biggest thing and the biggest key to his success.
How this is maybe a rhetorical question to you, but it's a mystery to us because we always put you on this pedestal. He will never retire. He'll always have a place somewhere. What brought you to that decision recently?
I wanted to go out feeling good about where I was at. I think a lot of guys quit baseball or retire from it, and they just don't have a good taste in their mouth because the game it's a tough game. It's going to chew you out and spit you up. And I had gotten there at some point, but I stayed with it, and I was determined to get myself back to a level that I thought I could get to. And I wanted to go out with that good taste in my mouth. I wanted to go out loving the game because I want to pass it on to my kids, and I want to pass it on to people that are close to me that have questions. I want to be a resource. I didn't want to be that guy that was over it and didn't want to be a part of baseball anymore. So I was in a good spot mentally. I was in a good spot physically. I was in a good spot with my family. And I was in a good spot just to kind of start my next step and figure that out. So that's why I really wanted to do it. I would love to play another 10 years, but that's always going to be in me. And I want to kind of recycle that passion and that discipline over to the coaching side. So I can give guys that I come in contact with everything I have and just be a good resource that's there for them, not there for any other reason. That's there for them and their success.
Wow. Well, you're certainly doing that. You've always been a blessing to all of us when we watch you and everything you've ever done. We see you as a champion. Jordan Pacheco does that well. He does that well. He's the best at this. He gives it his all every day. He makes a difference in people's lives. And yes, certainly on his team. You've always been in that role of making people better. I guess that's your role for life. And now, as a father and a husband, man, you see it every day, 24 hours a day, trying to make the people around you, the people you love, trying to help them be better. Your role as a husband now, being you found an angel of a wife, you
Hmm.
have two little angels as children. What's that life like for you?
I mean, I guess I could explain it. It's something that I definitely selflessly needed. It helped me learn a lot of things about myself. It helped me learn a lot of things um, about my past, and definitely being able to learn that selfless mindset more, and being there for, it's not about me anymore. It's been about me for a long time, and I can see that, and I can see where my parents gave a lot for me to get to where I was. So I want to be able to return that favor to my kids. I want to be able to return that favor to my wife and just be supportive of anything they want to do. But they have taught me how to be that selfless character and be that selfless person, and encourage them. So that's my experience with it right now. And I want to do the best I can at that role. I know I'm not going to be perfect. None of us are. But I'm gonna give it my all, and try to help them as best I can.
If you learn one thing that's invaluable to who you are today in your marriage and being a dad, you look at mom and dad, what did you take away from their parenting that you're using today?
I think it's kind of those things that I just mentioned. It was just that selflessness, that accountability, and that discipline that they kind of put in me from a young age. They allowed me to test my limits and find the line where I needed to go, but they were also there to teach me why, not to go that route, or teach me why I need to do things a little bit different, how I need to treat people. So those are the things that I take from them, and I'm going to definitely try to, or I am going to instill in my kids, and it's going to be definitely a household theme wherever our house is. Obviously, it's in New Mexico right now. We've moved back, so that's definitely going to be there for a while.
Wow. What's next for you? Do you want to coach? What do you want to do? Financially
I
secure, you have a lot of choices of what direction you want to go.
Yeah, I think so, but I want to coach. I definitely want to be that person for a lot of kids that, I had a lot of great coaches from little league, t-ball. Obviously, it was my dad for a long time, but through high school and college and through the minor leagues and even in the big leagues, I've had a lot of good mentors that that's something that I look at, that I feel I want to pass on. I want to be a part of somebody's life and helping them get to that next level, whatever it is, whether it's just next level in life, whether it's just next level in baseball, whatever it is. I just want to be able to help somebody. So I think coaching definitely is in the cards coming up here in the future, and hopefully I can find a good spot where I can
You
do
know,
that.
I had a discussion with friends. I thought it was going to work out where you'd get out right in time to take over for Ray Birmingham as the local coach. Down the road, would you like a challenge that big to be a college baseball coach?
I think so. I think that's something that's definitely been on my mind, and something that I've definitely talked with a lot of ex teammates about, who are kind of traveling that route and trying to figure out their own path. But yeah, I think it's definitely a lot of responsibility, and I think, but I would love to be able to influence kids on that level and be able to pour my knowledge into them, whether it's life, whether it's baseball, relationships, anything. I would love to be there for them to kind of be this that be that teacher that can kind of help them guide their path. So that's something definitely that's been on my mind lately. And I think over the course of this last year, it's been something that's kind of been put to the forefront as I've been ending my, getting to the end of my career. So I'm definitely interested and intrigued in that.
Yeah. Well, get prepared for this side career if you don't mind. Great voice. You got movie star looks. You have the ability to wherever you're at, you can achieve because you'll put that Jordan Pacheco mind to it. And there are no parameters that will hold you back from doing anything that you decide on. Have you discovered that about yourself?
Man, I like to think that I'm able to put my mind to anything and accomplish it, but I think with anybody, there's a lot of, there's a lot of, I don't know if the word I'm looking for, but I would like to think I'm able to do that and put my mind to it and go and get it. I think that's something that I've learned, especially playing a bunch of different positions in the big leagues is, you know what, you're not going to be perfect, but you just got to give it a go and you got to see where it takes you and you got to learn. You got to be able to talk to people who have been there and be able to take advice and be able to just keep your mouth shut sometimes and let people teach you and give you everything, all their knowledge. So yeah, definitely it's in my mind that I can do something I want to do, and hopefully it keeps continuing that way. And we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I'm the one that's going to encourage you all the time to seek that broadcasting career because it's going to come your way whether you want it or not. Get ready for the offer.
Well, I appreciate it. And I will definitely be calling you if that comes my way. I'll be definitely asking for all your advice. I think you got a lot of it.
Thank you, man. How about your family, your wife? Tell us about your beautiful wife.
Yeah, I mean, I met her in Denver, and like I said, I love my time in Denver. I met my wife there, and now we have two beautiful kids. So she has been very supportive of all the moving, and we've been everywhere over the last 7, 8 years. And I know it's hard, and especially when you add kids into the mix, it gets even harder. And she's been able to be there a lot of times when it's just her and the kiddos, and having to get them in bed, having to get them, feed them. So she is what keeps this engine going and what keeps this train moving. And she definitely has a little side gig. She likes to do photography and she's really good at it. So maybe in New Mexico, she can take some pictures of those beautiful mountains, and
Wow.
she'll have some landscape to work with. So, but she is definitely the rock for this whole family, and definitely for me. She's always there supporting me on what way to go, and advice on a lot of things. So she is the stone.
Well, that was well described. I can picture her at home with the kids. You're on a long road trip, and she can be with you by satellite dish or the game of the week. You're on TV, and she's sitting at home with the two kids by her side, and there's dad at the plate. Wow, what a story.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to play definitely a little bit longer. I wanted the kids to be at the baseball game. I wanted to enjoy that. I wanted them to see that daddy actually did play at a high level, and that he was okay. He was good enough to keep playing as long as he wanted. So I wanted them to see that, and that kind of discipline and dedication that they're going to need doing whatever they want in life. But that's the level that it has to be at if you want to succeed at a high level.
Retiring, was it emotional on that day when you finally said, "This is it"? I mean,
Yeah, I think it is. I think it still is. It still is kind of unpacking everything, talking to guys that I've played with for a long time that did it maybe a year or two earlier than me, and them reaching out. And it's definitely emotional. I've been a baseball player my whole life. That's all I've been. when people ask you, I think somebody asked me the other day, they're like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, I'm not a baseball. I can't say I'm a baseball player anymore. So that was kind of choked me up a little bit. I was like, oh man, I don't know what I do. But I'll figure it out sooner or later. So yeah, it's definitely emotional. It's still emotional. It's still something that I'm putting away slowly and taking time to do that just so I can leave it where it's at and move on. So
What got you there? What got you through every challenge at every level? It was more than just athletic ability. What really made the difference in every stop along the way?
man, that's a good question, and I think the way I can describe it is it's just a blue collar mentality, and it's something that my dad, and my mom that I saw every day. They get up, they go to work, whether they want to do it or not, they go do it. They do it because they got to support the family. They got to, my dad's got to put food on the table. My mom's got to put food on the table. They got to pay the bills. And so that was something for me that it was just like, all right, I got to, whether it's going good, whether it's going bad, I need to go to work. This is what I was born to do. So I think just having that example, like we've been talking about, and that discipline from them, learning from them and watching them every day, it's like, okay, it's not going good right now, but I just got to keep going. It will end. The bad will end and the good will come again. So that's kind of how my mentality has been set up, how I've been wired my whole life is nothing's good, nothing's bad. Just have fun, keep going, find the joy in it. And that's what I was able to do is find the joy in those bad times. When the good times came, it was easy.
I mean, watching you, the composure you've always had, but there you are, calm, cool, collective in the big time, and you see a fastball, and the next time you see it, it's in the stands. Wow. The feeling of hitting a home run in the show in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like? Feeling.
I think it's I mean that's one of the best feelings in the world. Everybody's watching you. You got 50,000 people there. They're watching you run the bases. You just did something that every one of them would love to do, and you just did it. And you're running the bases, and that was always that's the feeling. And I think for me the best feeling for me was I got a chance. We were playing the Reds uh, in a series, and Chapman came in back to back to back nights to kind of close the game out. And
Wow.
I had at bats in those 3 games at the end of the game. And I remember facing him for the first time, and you seeing him warm up, and it's 100, 102, and you're like, man. But at no point I ever was like, I'm not gonna get. I was like, I'm gonna get hit. I'm gonna hit a rocket off this guy. Like he doesn't have anything on me. And I remember going back to back to back nights. He came in, and I was able to get 3 hits off of him in a row. And I was like, man. Now looking back on it, I'm like, that guy's one of the best ever closing games out. And I got a chance to face him back to back to back nights in big time situations and actually have some success. So all that stuff comes back to me right now, and I'm unpacking it, like I said, and I'm gonna pack it up and I'm gonna leave it where it's at.
Wow. When you
But
watch
those are the things.
when you watch Chapman with the Yanks and
Mm-hmm.
he's throwing gas, you've seen that. What does that gas look like?
Uh, Again, like I said, I don't even know if I could recall what it looked like. I was such in the zone of
You
just
can
getting hits
hear it,
and
like we joke around. I can't see it, but I can hear it.
yeah. Maybe that was it. Maybe I heard it and I just he hit my bat 3 times. Maybe that was it.
Yeah. Major League Baseball today, I watch it every night. I have the Yes Network where I watch
Mm-hmm.
the Yankees a lot. And when he comes in, man, he still brings it. But they put
Oh,
an
he does.
together, and they've acquired Gallo and Rizzo, and they want to be a contender. And are they a legit contender now that Boston is fading?
I think so. I mean, it's baseball. You've watched it plenty. Everybody's got a chance still. It's baseball. Anything can happen. That's the beautiful thing about the game. You could be on your couch one day and all of a sudden you're back in the big leagues, or you could be in, struggling in AAA and all of a sudden they need a guy and all of a sudden you have a great end of the season for the big league club. So I think that's the beauty of baseball is anything can happen. And that's what I love about it. You just got to show up and you never know what can happen.
How about the success of Alex Bregman? Tell me about
It, I'm I remember him he was our bat boy, and when I was over there at UNM, and he would come on road trips with us, and he was just a small little guy. I don't even know if he's any bigger than he was back then when he was 12, but man, he would come and hit in the cage, and you'd be like, man, he's got some good action, and probably how you watch games, when you're watching us as well, like, these guys are kind of good. They're pretty good. They can hit the ball. They can throw it around. And I remember watching him like, man, this kid's going to be good. He's going to be a good high school player. And then he got to high school and I was like, man, he's going to be a good college player. And then once he got to college, like he's going to be one of the best players in the league.
wow.
And it wasn't anything spectacular on the field, I didn't think. I mean, he could hit the ball definitely. He had a great swing. He could play the position. But it was that extra thing he had, and that's the thing you look for is he loves baseball. He has a passion for it. The kid gets up. He's eating baseball Cheerios. He's do whatever. You just never. Everything is baseball to him, and it's always been like that. So that's the thing that I saw, and I was like, that's the reason he's going to be good. He can hit, he can throw, but that extra thing that he has, that's special, and you can't learn that. That's just something that God gave him and said, hey, buddy, you're going to love baseball and you're going to be a hell of a player. So go get it.
Hey, between you and me, I told everybody you're going to be the best quarterback the Cueva ever had. And I predicted it, and it never happened. Why not? Why didn't I see Pacheco behind the center throwing BBs out there to wide receivers? Tell me.
I think it's kind of the thing we talked about. My mom, I had respect for my parents, and my mom said, "You're not going to do that, son. I'll let you play basketball and baseball." But she had her experiences of seeing guys get hurt. She was a physical therapist, so she was like, she kind of knew that she saw a lot of football players, and she was not going to see me, her son, being a football player. So
but in the back of your mind, you knew you could fit that role today.
I would have loved it. Yeah, I would have liked to try, but again, you never know. Baseball might not have panned out as well as it did. So
my frustration is over because I still tell that story. How about the coaches that you've had?
Mm-hmm. And I've had some amazing coaches, amazing mentors from, baseball to basketball. When I was little, my dad obviously was my first coach. And I think my first hitting coach was Kurt Arnett, Zach Arnett's uncle, who had played some professional baseball. So I was getting that level of experience at a very young age. I had Rick Roach, who was James Barr's dad, who was always helping us, who was getting us to tournaments, signing us up to play really good teams that definitely excelled my ability as a baseball player. And Bob Topper, teaching me the game of basketball, and Linda, definitely his wife, like those, they taught me how to have fun playing the game of basketball, and that kind of transferred over into baseball. And definitely I had Stan McKeever at La Cueva, and Stan was great. He let us go. He let us play the game and have fun, but he always thought, hey, he always taught us to be good people, and good things happen to good people. And he put that in me definitely at a young age. And I believed in that. I was like, you know what, if I want to play baseball, I gotta do things right. And definitely getting to college, I had Coach All Day, Mark Martinez over there, and definitely Ken Hockamine. Those guys were all big influences on my baseball career and just kind of letting me play. And then definitely moving to professional baseball and having all those coaches that, a guy that I still talk to today, Jerry Weinstein, he helped me learn how to catch, and he's still helping me. He's helping me with anything I need baseball wise. And those are the people that you truly admire, and you're kind of in debt to them for the rest of your life.
Give us a overview, a capsulization of your baseball experience, your sports experience in day one to the present, and capsulize it. Give us a short story.
I think kind of like with any story, it's just what did you learn along the way, and man, I learned so much from people, and just being disciplined and being accountable for my actions and having fun at the end of the day. I think that was the thing that I look back on. I had a lot of fun playing this game of baseball. I had a lot of fun with my teammates, and being able to keep some of those relationships all the way through, and even at the end, being able to kind of revisit those relationships with guys, and them sending me texts, and kind of reliving a little kind of moments from high school to little league to college, all the way through my professional career. So it's been a really good story for myself that I'm able, and I got a lot of chapters in there, but again, it's been a learning experience. And kind of probably with you probably learned a lot from broadcasting and doing games and talking to people, and the amount of people you've talked to and probably come in contact with, I can't even imagine the things that you've been able to see and been able to hear, and the people you've been able to talk to. It's just, you probably will be able to look back someday, reflect on it, and just be like, wow, man, what a ride, what a lot of things that all the things that I've learned, all the people that I've been able to help up to this point. And that's kind of where I'm at, just kind of unpacking it, like I said, and enjoying it.
Well, I've had a lot of thrills in my career, there's no doubt. Today is a huge thrill to be able to interview the Jordan Pacheco, young man that we all respect and love and enjoyed watching play. And we've enjoyed supporting you as your biggest fan. And everybody out there probably claims you are they are your biggest fan.
I hope so. Well, I'm probably their biggest fan. So,
yeah. In closing today, what do you say to those people?
I say thank you, everybody who supported me, like you, Henry. I really appreciate it. Everything that you've done for me, all the games you came to, and you raised my level of game, of I guess my level of preparation. I knew if Henry T was there, I need to get prepared to play. I'm gonna be on the radio. I'm gonna get that Henry T voice saying my name. I better make sure he says it a lot this game, and it's a good reason. So, but yeah, I think everybody, all the way from people at the news stations who's always been great to me and helping me out, the people in New Mexico. I'm definitely gonna give back when I can, and I'm living in Albuquerque now, so hopefully I might have a good chance to give back as much as I want.
You've been so good at everything, but I'm going to say today, your greatest days are in front of you. Mark my word.
So I appreciate that, Henry. I appreciate that a lot.
Amen. The last thing I want to say in our last minute, every parent sacrifices for their children. You're experiencing that right now. But to lay this on our audience today, how much did your parents sacrifice for you?
Again, I mean, I think I've said it a couple times throughout this whole thing is I don't even know. I can't even count. I don't even know if there's if there's an amount they sacrificed. They sacrificed everything. So I'm in debt to them forever. But they're great parents. They are great parents.
You go back to the starting line now that you're a dad and a husband. So you'll do the same thing and more. Jordan, God bless you, man. What an opportunity for me to interview you in front of the state of New Mexico. And now these computers go worldwide. So they're
All
watching
right.
go today.
Okay.
God
I
bless
appreciate it,
you.
Henry. Thank
Take
you, sir.
care, buddy.
You too. Have a good one. Bye.
Wow, what an experience. Jordan Pacheco, retirement, such a young man, but he's got greater things to look forward to for sure. Our sponsors are so good to me. Um, Gosh, when I think of all those people, Emma Story, our first sponsor, Indigo Mortgage, Ben Lucero, Rax Lumber Company, Richie Tabbitt, Kevin, my good buddy out there, feeding all the students at APS. And that's big time. He's out there at the canteen. Hydro Bar, the Baca family. They got us started with, they got me, we did our first show there. Henry, get on camera right now. I'll show you this new machine. Then he faked me out. He pressed a button and said, you're on around the world right now, Henry. Say something. What? So we started this show. It's become very popular thanks to you. And thank you very much for being there in support of my efforts as we do this TV thing. And I wanted to mention one other sponsor, Chuck Jackson at Jackson Mechanical, Jackson Automotive, Action Jackson Compaction. They send those little dumper, put your they put your trash in the back. They make every house a clean home, backyard, front yard, and they'll be out there in a hurry. Chuck is a great race driver. We'll have him on soon. I want to say thank you to Alden at ProView for being the pro that he is, for making this show happen. And of course, the greatest producer I've ever worked with. And I've worked with some great ones at all levels of this business. And Jimmy Tran, oh, how talented is that guy? We started together at this and didn't know what the right hand or the left hand were doing, or man, where do we start? But his brain power, his creativity has guided us along the way. And all those people that have been my guests on this show. And today we have a giant star, Jordan Pacheco, joining us. And man, I tell you, I was almost emotional because I've been with him so many times along the way. But I'll never forget that morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastdale Little League Park. And two best teams in the Little League experience were there. And there was a crowd at 8 o'clock in the morning, 2,000, 3,000 people wanting to see these teams play. And Jordan that morning threw a no hitter. I'll never forget it. It's like yesterday. But here he's finishing his Major League Baseball career on, and he tells the story on this show. Wow. Emotional. I feel it. And I know you do too. But thank you. We'll do it again soon. Alden, God bless you out there, ProView. Take it away, and we'll do it again next week. See you later. Thank you. Do we make it on time? No. I've never made